I'm Evan Donovan.
And I'm Jennifer Piñate. This is News Channel 8 at 4. Thanks so much for being with us. It was an elaborate scheme that made thieves millions of dollars. Attorney General Ashley Moody called it one of the biggest retail theft cases ever.
It came to a halt right here in Tampa Bay. 8 on your side's Polk County Bureau reporter Stacy De Silva explains.
Sheriff Grady Judd called this scheme brilliant, but it wasn't brilliant enough to get by him or his detectives. After years conducting this operation, they've been caught. Nothing to see here, just guys wheeling around huge TV after huge TV. Polk County deputies found they already had a pile of them in their van.
We were born in the morning, but it wasn't yesterday. People don't ride around with a van full of televisions, all needing to be returned with cash receipts.
When deputies got a tip about a suspicious merchandise return at this Walmart in Auburndale in August of last year, authorities say they uncovered a $3.6 million enterprise.
One of the biggest cases in organized retail theft that we've handled.
Florida Attorney General Ashley Moody is on the case now because of how sprawling it is across the Sunshine State. According to her and Sheriff Judd, this crew hit up every county in orange on this map and a dozen other states. For the last 6 years, they're accused of buying new and salvaged televisions, switching them out and returning them in a way that pocketed them a ton of cash. While 2 people have been arrested, these 2 are still wanted.
They're at large. They're hiding. We know that they move between Georgia and Alabama. As you know, Columbus is on the state line.
Sheriff Judd says law enforcement is training retailers all over the nation about this scheme, so the next time someone tries to pull a fast one on them, they'll be ready. Reporting in Polk County, I'm Stacy De Silva, 8.
In Polk County, Florida, which is halfway between Tampa and Orlando.
Good afternoon, folks. Thanks for being here. Earlier today, November.
Nobody want to hear you. These guys got busted in late 2020, but they're still going to court right now. So I say all of this is allegedly. The government hasn't proved that any of these people actually committed these crimes, but they did this scheme in about 39 different counties in the state of Florida, and they did it in about 13 different states total, from what the police say. This is a video of, this is what they say is evidence of the group buying TVs and bringing them back. One of the things that I think they did wrong was they only went to Walmart. They didn't go to Target. They didn't go to Costco, Meijer, or anywhere else that sell TVs. They primarily just went to Walmart, and they allegedly got over $3.6 million worth of TVs. And if you see all of these pictures and videos, they was primarily getting 55 to 70-inch TVs, getting like 2 or 3, 4 of them at a time. So a lot of these TVs were some cheap TVs at Walmart. So these guys had to do this, what you see in this video. They had to do this like thousands of times, like thousands of TVs all across like 13 different states at least. But it was only, some of their mistakes was there was only 3 people that were actually doing the transactions. There was only about 3 people going in and out of the stores, buying these TVs and then returning them. And they only did it with cash. They never used credit cards. They never, when they would return the TVs, they would always want their money back. So I feel like they got a little bit greedy. They should have went and got more TVs. Like if you go in, you buy one TV for $500, then you do the little scam, switch the good TV for a broken TV, then return it back to Walmart. You should try to get another TV, but they were just getting cash. So basically, they never were really paying for anything, and they only were hitting Walmart. So Walmart, they figured this out with the help of police. Like, hey, we losing a lot of money. We got all these TVs, but I'll just read a little bit of what the Polk County Sheriff's Office put out about this. This happened in December 4th, in December of 2020. The investigation relates to an organized group of suspects defrauding the retailer Walmart by conducting fraudulent refunds and selling stolen merchandise for profit. The investigation revealed the suspects operated in at least 13 states through the United States in a 7-month time span. Within the state of Florida, it was determined the suspects included in this investigation affected 18 judicial circuits in 39 different counties. The investigation shows the criminal organization has been operating since at least the year 2014. Working with Walmart investigators, records show losses to the retailer during the time of this investigation between August 2019 and ending in March of 2020 includes approximately 600 fraudulent transactions that resulted in a loss of about $300,000. It was determined that of these losses, $174,000 was stolen from Walmart stores located in Florida. Based on evidence showing the suspects have been operating and selling TVs since at least 2014, it is estimated the suspects have stolen approximately $3.6 million from retailers. The thefts and fraud occurred as follows. Members of the criminal group will purchase large, expensive TVs from a Walmart store for cash, remove the new TVs and replace them with salvaged TVs, return them for cash, and keep and resell the new stolen TVs. The investigation began on August 31st, 2019 at the Walmart store located in Auburndale, Florida, in reference to 3 men conducting suspicious merchandise returns. Detectives made contact with Walmart investigators and learned the suspects had responded to multiple Walmarts in Polk County, Florida to attempt to return TVs for cash refunds. During the initial investigation, detectives identified 3 people who were returning the television sets. Detectives learned the suspects had receipts for the TVs they returned, in addition to 5 TVs that were located inside the suspect's vehicle. The receipts stated that cash was paid for each TV, and the serial numbers on the receipts matched those on the boxes and the televisions. The suspects were interviewed separately, and each provided different stories regarding the reasoning behind the television returns, the locations they had traveled, where they were traveling to, and what kind of work they were performing. Due to the cash receipts matching the serial numbers at the scene, no arrests were made at that time, but the items were identified, photographed, and the suspects were allowed to leave. Eric Grisby, Ja'Cory Holland, and Jorge Ortiz, all who had Georgia residency. Detectives observed several TVs in the rear of the cargo van they were driving. The investigation determined that these TVs were later returned to Walmart stores in Alabama and Florida. The Dodge cargo van was later identified as having been used throughout the eastern United States as part of the organized fraudulent scheme. On September 5th, 2019, a detective conducted an inspection of one of the Samsung TVs returned by the suspects. The serial number on the outside of the box matched the serial number on the sticker located on the outside panel of the TV. As the television was turned on, the detective observed the screen to be partially broken. The detective was able to access the television's control board settings menu and learned the control board identified the television as having a different serial number than those on the sticker and on the box. Other televisions were inspected with similar results. The actual serial number of the television did not match the numbers on the box and on the stickers on the outside of the television case. The investigation identified a business in Smyrna, Georgia, that was sending money to the suspects. Detectives worked with the Georgia Bureau of Investigations and conducted undercover television purchases at the business. 2 of the televisions purchased from the business were determined to have been purchased by the identified suspects on February 23rd, 2020 in Kentucky, and then returned with fraudulently substituted broken televisions by suspects in Deltona, Florida, and Green Acres, Florida on March 1st, 2020. Detectives have identified social media accounts and businesses believed to be used to sell the televisions stolen from Walmart. In September of 2020, detectives provided information to the Gwinnett County Sheriff's Office in relation to where suspect Chanthan may have been located. Detectives with the Sheriff's Office located him driving a Dodge van and conducted a traffic stop. Upon his arrest, he was found to have 25 televisions in the back of the vehicle. Detectives inspected the televisions and found that they had been altered and ready for return to Walmart stores. 70 other receipts were located that showed the suspects had purchased additional televisions and were preparing them for alterations and return. Since the initial findings of fraud, detectives have been working with the Walmart loss prevention personnel, other law enforcement agencies, and the Attorney General's office in Florida to develop extensive evidence and documentation of thefts from Walmart stores all across the southeastern United States. So these are the people. There was 5 people that got charged. These are some of their charges. This guy was charged with F3, F1, F1, F2, F1, F3, use of two-way communication device to commit a felony, obtain property by fraud, criminal conspiracy to violate the Racketeering Act, coordinate others' retail theft over $3,000, racketeering, cheating or gross fraud, and he had criminal history in Georgia. All of these people were from Georgia, by the way, according to this. Then the next person, he got an F1, an F1, an F1, F3, F1, F3, and he got a long criminal history. He got directing, dealing in stolen property, obtained property by fraud, criminal conspiracy to violate the Racketeering Act, cheating or gross fraud, racketeering, and use of two-way communication device to commit a felony. These 2 guys were arrested when the case was filed. These 2 people were still wanted when the case was filed. Jacory, he got a F3, use of two-way communication. F1, obtain property by fraud. Racketeering. F1, cheating or gross fraud. F3, criminal conspiracy to violate the Racketeering Act. F1, coordinate others' retail theft over $3,000. F2, and he got a criminal history. This woman, Michelle, she got pretty much the same charges as all of those guys. F3, F1, 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 F3, and she got a criminal history. This person died before this case was filed somehow. He got a criminal history. All these people have criminal histories, according to the sheriff's office. And this is kind of their little, they put this guy at the top. This happened about 2 years ago. Right now, he's going to trial in early 2023. This person died. This person is taking his case to trial. So Chanthan, he's going to trial. Jorge, he's going to trial. Eric passed away. Jacory is currently incarcerated in Georgia, and they've been trying to extradite him, so they haven't really been able to get him for 2 years. And then Michelle, from what it looks like in her case file, she's still on the run, I believe. But these guys all together, I mean, they had a real good run. I believe they made over $3.6 million, and I just think if they would have changed some things up, they probably wouldn't have gotten caught. This case was interesting to me because I had never heard of nothing like this. I mean, especially at a multi-million-dollar level. I mean, it's a crazy amount what they did. I might do an update on this case in a year or so once these guys go through their trial and tell you, if they end up beating the case or not. Like, comment, subscribe. Let me know what you think about this case in the comments below.